Hello and welcome to Edupedia World Videos. In the previous video, we already discussed the first demo where we were able to see how to display the account balance as well as the account line item display. There is another way to also see how this line item is displayed, and this is a more direct way of doing it. If I go back to the SAP screen, what we earlier did was we went to FS10N, and over here we entered the GL account number, and then after that we had to double click to see the line item details. Alternatively, what we can do is we can go back and enter transaction FBL3N, which is given on the slide over here. This transaction takes you to the line item detail report directly. It gives you the line item display selection screen first, where you will enter which GL account do you want to display, which company code, etc. There are many things to be discussed over here. So the first thing over here is, in SAP, whenever you are not sure of what you want to enter in any box, there is an option always where you can click on this button and it will give you a drop down. If it is a very unique value which has got a lot of parameters behind it, then it will first give you a screen like this, where you are supposed to choose that which exact box does your selection fall under. Let's say you are not aware of the GL account number, but you do know what is the GL account company code. So the company code we enter is 1000, but we do not know what our GL account number is. So in that case, we just leave it to this much and we press on this tick button. Or if you do not want to press on the tick button, you can click also on your enter key on the keyboard. Once we do this, SAP will give you a list of all the GL accounts available within the company code 1000. And all these GL accounts are available in this column on the right side. If you click on the column, it will automatically arrange all the values in ascending order. If you click one more time, it will arrange the values in descending order. So this is very user friendly if you want to find any account from the list. Now I will close the screen. Once this is done, once you know what your GL account is and your company code, if you move down, you will see that there are three options over here available. What is the status which you want to check? Do you want to check only the open items? Open items means those documents which are not yet paid or not yet cleared. Or do you want to see only the cleared items, which means you want to ignore the open items? Or third option, do you want to see all the items? This will give you a huge list of documents which will cover all the different items, whether they are open or cleared. There are other options available on the bottom called type of line items. Do you want to only display the normal items? Do you want to display noted items? Noted items are those which do not have any accounting impact. These are just noted documents. And the parked items are those which are not yet posted in the system. We will cover the topic of parking later on when we discuss how to post documents in SAP. And lastly, it gives you an option of entering a layout in which you want to display your next screen. As of now, we will keep these all empty. We have selected on all items so that we can see all the open as well as cleared items against this GL account. Once selection is done, we need to click on the execute button, which looks like a clock on the top left. Once we click that, you can see that the system is compiling some documents, and the status bar will show you the accurate process which is going on. And now the status bar says that we have found 2038 items, and these are all displayed over here. So this is what is the line item display of only one GL account which we have manually chosen. As you see on the top, it says we have chosen this GL account, and this GL stands for office supplies. And you see over here, the posting date gives you an idea of when this document was posted. Some of these documents are as old as 1995. If you want, you can click on the posting date once, and after that click on this button, which means ascending order. This will sort this column in ascending order, which means the oldest will come first and the most recent documents will go right at the bottom of the list. Let's say I want to see which documents were posted to this GL account in November 2015. Then I will first sort this in descending order, which is this button. And that will give me an idea of the latest documents. The last document posted for this account was on 30th of October, which means nothing was posted in November. So this gives you an idea of when the document was posted. And over here further in the middle, you will see the GL account, which we are currently working on. So this value remains the same in all the columns. And you will see the amount in euros in the next column. Once you see this layout and you think that you want to check even more details, if you want to add more columns to this layout, you are allowed to do that by clicking on the Change Layout button. And this is again a very important tool because it gives you the freedom to choose which columns do you want to view and which do you want to hide. Let's say I am interested in seeing what is the amount in my second currency, which means not in euros but in USD. So we will search for a field over here which says amount in local currency. We found one. There should be amount in local currency 2 as well. If you're not able to find your particular field over here, then you do have an option of sorting this particular column in ascending order. Once you do that, you will see that all the fields are arranged in an ascending order. And I have now found out the amount in local currency too. Let's move this to the left by clicking on this button. Also, I am not interested in right now checking what are the order number or the cost center numbers or the profit centers. So I will move them on the right. So it's a very user-friendly interface where you can add columns on the left and remove columns on the right. And once this is done, we click on the enter button on the keyboard or press this button. And now you can see on the right side, the amount in local currency is also available, and this is in US dollars. If you want, you can also add a currency column which will show you which currency is this from. And this is purely dependent on the exchange rate which you have set in the system. So this is how you display a line item report. I'll go back to the presentation now. Let's move on to the next demo. This demo will show us how to display a vendor master. And as you see on the right side, we have given the menu path as well as the transaction code. If I switch back to SAP, I can go on the main screen again by clicking on back. But if I want to jump to a transaction directly from this screen, I need to first enter \n, and I then can enter whatever transaction code I'm looking for. In this case, the transaction code is FK03. We don't need any spaces in between. Once you enter \n, you just enter the transaction code which is required. And once that is done, we can press enter. This takes me directly to the display vendor screen. I can enter my vendor number over here, the company code, and I can check on what exactly do I want to display. These are the different tabs which are available in the vendor master. Let's say I want to view all of them. So then I select view all. But if I do not want to view all, I can first deselect all, and as you see, all the ticks have gone away, and I can manually choose which particular tabs do I want to display. And once I have chosen them, I need to click on this button or the enter button on the keyboard. Once you have entered the vendor master, the first screen is the address which you had already ticked earlier. So the address will carry the name of the vendor, if there are any search terms for the vendor, the street name, the house number, the postal code, the city, the country, in this case it is Germany, the state, if at all it is relevant, and the time zone. The time zone is automatically populated once you enter your city name or the country name. You can also see that there are some communication related items like telephone number, email address, etc., which you can enter for your vendor. Once you're done with viewing this screen and you want to move to the next one, there is an option here called next screen. The control screen gives you information like the tax number, the VAT registration number, etc. of the vendor. In this case, we know that the VAT registration number is entered over here. This information is important going forward from any tax return point of view and also from tax reporting point of view. Now we move on to the next screen, and this will give you details like the bank account of the vendor. Currently, no bank account is entered for this vendor, but if there were any, you would have a separate bank key and a bank account number over here. And since it is a European bank, then you would have IBAN as mandatory over here, the IBAN value. Let's move on to the next screen. Now we have come to company code specific data. All the vendor and the customer and the GL account master data are divided in two parts. One is called general data, which is at a higher level, and that data is applicable across all the company codes. And there's a second layer called company code, where you can add specific information to that company code for this vendor. This means I can have two different vendors with the same number 201 in two different company codes. So as you see over here, for this company code and this vendor, we have these specific details like recon account number, interest indicator, etc. The recon account is nothing but a common GL account where all the balances of this particular vendor are pushed into. The next screen will carry information related to your payments. So if you have any agreed payment terms with the vendor, and what are the payment methods that you use for this vendor. Again, if you're not sure of any values, you need to click on this button and there will be a pop-up. So as you see over here, this option is ticked, which means we are paying this vendor by either SEPA credit transfer or with an international check. These are the two options which are in the vendor master which are ticked. I'll close the screen. We'll move on to the next one. And this is the last part of a vendor master. If at all there is any correspondence related information available with you, you can add that over here. For example, the accounting clerk or any other information like account memo. So this is how you display a vendor master. So this is the end of this video where we have shown a demo of how a vendor master looks like, and also in the previous slide how do we look at the line item display of a GL account. In the next video we will look at how do we view or display a customer master and other details. Thank you very much for watching Edupedia World videos.